week, he was quoted by Montreal's Gazette as saying there'll be no more federal money to enlarge Canada's road and highway network. He says the network as it currently exists is, quote, perfectly adequate. The government's intent on getting people out of their cars and onto public transit. It didn't take long for reaction to roll in from far and wide, suggesting Guilbeault is out of touch with reality, given the fact millions of Canadians live in suburban and rural areas where there's no public transit. This is Canada Calling and online at canadacalling.com. Prior Smith speaking from Toronto.
This is the TAN Talk Radio Network.
How you doing today on this fine Thursday morning? You are listening to the Knife and Fork Radio Show. My name is Eric. I'll be your host, and this is Mike, our co-host. Mike, how you doing this morning?
Good, buddy. How we doing today?
Yeah, living the dream, man, like always, man. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt. On the Knife and Fork Radio Show, we're here to just talk about everything restaurant-related, your food topics, your drink topics, your relations that you had with the restaurant last night when you went out to dinner. We want to hear about everything. We want to talk about restaurant workers. We want to talk about the food you enjoy. Anything and everything restaurant related, and we're going to keep it fun. We're going to keep it light. That's why I got one of my best friends, Mike, doing the show with me, because we like to crack up and have a good time with each other.
Absolutely, brother.
But just a couple of introductions, because this is our first broadcast ever. So a little bit of history about myself. I don't claim to be the best at anything I do, but I'm pretty good at some of it. I own a Goodfellas Knife and Fork Italian restaurant up in Newport Richey. We've been open over there for about 2.5 years now. Things are going really well. I got about 30 plus years in the restaurant business. Good God. It just seems like it never ends. Right, Mike?
Oh, 30? Oh, it feels like 50.
God, I'll tell you what, man. It certainly does. But yeah, I got about 30 plus years in the business. I've done everything you could think of in the industry. I've washed dishes, which I wish I was doing that for a living now because it's so much easier than what I do. I washed dishes. I worked in a kitchen. I've been executive chef. I've been managing partner. I've been area director. And then I said, the hell with it. I'm just going to quit doing all this and I'm going to do it for myself. And then that's when I decided to open up Goodfellas Knife and Fork out there in Newport Richey. And then Mike's over here. I don't know if he's got 30 years in there plus like I do, but he's probably pretty damn close, I would think.
Yeah, I got about 25, I think. Kind of the same boat as you, dishwasher,
everything.
Busboy, you name it, man. I wish I was a busboy.
I'll tell you, man, those were the good old days, man, when we could just do that and somebody's like, go do this, and you just did it.
Yeah.
Now we're the ones that are saying, go do that, and we got to make sure we're telling them the right thing to do, man. It drives me nuts sometimes.
Yeah, and the PR these days, oh, man.
It's rewarding, though, man. I don't know how you feel, Mike, but for me, it's been a rewarding career my entire life. You know what I mean? I've met some really good people over the years. I met my wife at a restaurant many, many years ago.
I met my wife at a restaurant many years ago.
Yeah, man, you certainly did. You and I were working together, as a matter of fact.
We were actually eting dinner when we met my wife.
Where were we? I don't remember.
Bullseye.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Bullseye.
We'll get into that topic another day. We'll save that for another week.
Greatest place on earth.
We got some funny stories about the old Bullseye Saloon, that's for sure. Oh, man. But yes, I mean, it's been a great career. I started when I was 15. Hell, I'm 48 coming up in July. You believe that, Mike? 48.
Yeah, you're getting old.
How the hell long we known each other at this point, man?
Oh, man. 20, 25 years, something like that.
Jesus
I'm 45,
Christ.
So.
Are you 45?
I'm 45
you're an
now.
old man, too.
I'm an old man, too. I mean, we're all over the hill.
You're an old jerk.
Yeah. You're right about that.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what.
About that.
But it's all good, though. But this is what we do. We love it. We go to work 12, 13 hours a day, and, we don't know anything different. I don't know how to swing a hammer. I do know how to swing a hammer, but I break everything in front of me every time I do it. So I'm not good at putting things back together again, but I can certainly break it down. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, for sure.
But yes, anyway, that's just a little bit about me. And then, Mike, if you want to talk a little bit about your history and what you've done over the years, I'm sure the listeners that are out there would love to hear about you and learn about you.
Yeah, well, my name is Mike, and, basically started out as a dishwasher, young, dumb kid dropping out of college, being an idiot, drinking, chasing girls. And then kind of worked my way up and then ended up owning a couple of places and then go from there into consulting. Kind of consulting is what I'm doing.
You did do that
now.
consulting gig for a little while.
I'm
That's a cool gig right there.
Yeah, it's not too bad. The only bad part is, you go into restaurants that are in a really bad state.
Yeah.
And then you have to kind of pull them out, and then you do.
So you do like John Safford stuff. You walk in there, and you take your arm and you just knock all the food off the top of the bar.
Yeah, you just throw it right in the
Gordon
trash.
Ramsay, shut it down.
You just pick fryers up and throw them over your head. Like Incredible Hulk. It's
I
great.
love it, man. I love it.
But eventually, man, it took its toll on me because you take you get to see the worst of everything.
Yeah, okay.
So you get to see the worst of everything.
You know what? You're right. You walk into the worst of the worst,
So
and then you're
walk in-
expected to fix.
Yeah. You walk into dirty, and then roach,
Oh,
and then rodents, and then the worst thing in the world,
filthy.
and then you're expected to turn it around.
Yeah.
With people that don't have any teeth. So it's tough. so it's a tough scenario.
Oh, that's great. I love it.
That's the key.
I don't know why they don't have any teeth, but we all get that visual in our head right now. Mike walks into the building, and the guy greets him. He's got no teeth and says, "Get these rats out of my restaurant, and I'm going to pay you a handsome fee to do so. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day." Nice
Absolutely. Pretty much, I just walk around with a dustpan and a broom, and then I get the other guy with no teeth to scare him right into the dustpan. So it's fantastic.
I still have no idea why this guy has no teeth in his mouth, and I'll be honest with you guys that are listening right now. I don't want to know why this guy didn't have any teeth in his mouth. That's a problem that I do not want to get involved with. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, meth is a beast. Meth is a beast.
That's what I've heard.
I never heard anything good about it.
No, never. But all right, cool, man. So that's a little bit of history on us, just so you guys know what we're all about. And then, like what we're going to do on this show is we're going to talk about restaurant stuff. We're going to keep it fun and goofy like we are doing right now because we like to have a good time. And, we're going to talk about some serious stuff. And then mainly we're going to keep it light. We're not going to bash any other restaurants or businesses that are out there. We just want to talk about our experiences. We want to hear about your experiences. And we want to be able to just kind of have fun and just educate the public on how the restaurant works. Some things people don't understand and they don't realize it when they go out to eat. And maybe we can kind of help shed a little bit of light on that. So that way, next time you go out to dinner, you might look at the workers from a different perspective and say, you know what, these guys, they're working, they're earning their money, because that's what we do.
Of course. Not everybody's working, but 90%.
Well, yeah. I mean, you always get those idiots that are just kind of sitting back, collecting a paycheck, and you got to go chase them down with that broom and dustpan and tell them to get to work. But,
of course,
90% of them do a good job.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so anyway, that's that. So we'll get into a little bit of stuff right now. Mike, have you ever heard about this place? It's called Pup's Pub. Does that ring a bell to you at all?
It does not ring a bell to me. Is this a pub where dogs can go eat?
You know what? You hit the nail right on the head. All right. So there was this place. It was called Pup's Pub. I think it's a franchise. Maybe there's a few of them. But this place opened up a few years ago in Orlando. And this is an interesting story because the whole premise of this restaurant was to bring your dog inside and enjoy dinner while you sit down at the table and you enjoy your dinner. So it's 100% dog friendly. The name, of course, suggests that it should be because you obviously figured out by the name, right?
Of course.
Excuse me. So this Pup's Pub in Orlando opened up back in 2021, I think. And it's crazy because the health department, when they first walked in, they passed them flying colors and said, you guys are good. Of course, clear to open, get your business going. Business gets open. Health inspector comes back in 6 months, 7 months later, whenever they're due for their next routine, and says, you're not allowed to have dogs in an eating establishment.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So the whole premise of this business is to bring your dog in because that's what they do. So like if I want to go, everybody's got a dog. You got a dog, Mike?
I have two.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I have a miniature Dachshund and I have a Frenchie.
You got a Frenchie too?
Well, listen, my daughter has both of those.
Well, yeah,
I have zero.
Yeah, of course.
I have zero.
Let me ask you this. Who cleans up the dog poop?
I do.
So your daughter definitely has a dog.
Yeah, of course.
Gotcha.
Of course.
So with this Pup's Pub, they open the doors, they get the thing going, they're making money. And then apparently these owners, they put their life savings into this place, took out loans, mortgaged their homes, dumped it all in there. Open the doors. Health inspector walks in 6 months later, says, you guys can't have dogs in here. And it just crippled their entire business. Obviously, for obvious reasons, they can't operate now. So they went to the courts and they spoke with whoever it is, and they actually had a lawsuit, apparently, from what I understand, against the Department of Health. And they were allowed to reopen again, finally, just a few weeks ago with the dogs. They won the court case, basically.
Fantastic.
But how absurd is it that you open a business. It's called Pup's Pub. Your entire premise is dogs in the business, but then you're told you can't have the dogs in the business. It would be like me opening up a restaurant and serving food, and then the health inspector walks in and says, you can't serve food here.
That's fantastic.
So what am I going to do now?
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the DMV. Kind of like the DMV and the police department.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into any conversation about the DMV. It's the worst.
Well, they're two separate entities, right?
They are.
So the Department of Business and Public Regulation says, hey, go ahead, open your business. Fantastic.
Yep.
Do what you do.
Yep.
All right, here's your stamp of approval.
Of course.
And then, okay, you're level 2 restaurant probably, which
go.
means you get 2 health inspections per year because you're not shucking oysters.
Sure, that's what I am. I'm every 6 months.
Yeah, so it's every 6 months, right?
Yep.
So average every 6 months. So then we roll in there for the first, after the first 6 months, and then the health department says you can't do it.
It's crazy.
So it's the same thing, So we're going to need you to go to a DMV hearing. Also, we're going to need you to talk to the state of Florida.
Absolutely.
Okay,
and then the guy that has no teeth that wants you to get the rodents out of his restaurant, he's going to greet you at the door with a big smile.
And he is ready to operate, and they do not mind.
I don't want to meet this guy.
And they do not mind that he operates.
Hey, listen, everybody out there, if you're listening to the show right now, just give you a heads up. The call lines are open. We'd love to take some calls for you. Or from you. The phone number is going to be locally 727-441-3000, or you can call us toll free at 1-866-826-1340. You're listening to the Knife and Fork Radio Show. But that's some good, interesting information right there that we just went over. I just, I heard that story yesterday, and I'm kind of writing prep for today. And I'm like, you know what? I got to work that into the show somehow. And it looks like it turned out to be the first thing that I talked about.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I tell you what, I mean, when you deal with the DPPR, they just pretty much do whatever they want.
Absolutely.
So that's fantastic.
That's it. They govern, and you can't do anything about it.
There's nothing you can do about it.
You know another thing that really grinds my gears, Mike?
Oh, yes.
I want to talk a little bit about Yelp.
Oh, Yelp is my favorite. All
right, so just a little reason why Yelp kind of irritates me, all right? So I got this restaurant. I've had it going for a couple of years now, right? And I get stellar reviews across the board. If you go to Google and you Google Goodfellas Knife and Fork, you're going to see that we have nothing but 5-star reviews across the board. I got a couple out there that are a little bit less than perfect, but for the most part, everything is 4 or 5 stars across the board. I mean, we have a stellar reputation. And I would expect the same on Yelp.
Oh, of course.
All right. So this guy came in one time. He didn't get what he expected. He leaves a less than perfect review. I don't want to say it's a bad review, but it was like 2 or 3 stars. I don't know, out of 5.
Right.
Whatever. It just didn't meet his expectations. No big deal. That review sticks. That's on there all day long. It's plastered all over Yelp. It's been on there for as long as I can remember. Since then, I've had probably, 30 more reviews on Yelp. All of them, which are 100% stellar across the board, 5 stars. Yelp apparently has these standards, they call it, for guidelines. And apparently the good reviews on Yelp don't meet the guidelines of whatever algorithm they use in order to put these reviews online and post them to make them available for the public to see. So I've got 2 good reviews on Yelp. I've got 1 bad review on Yelp, and I think I have a handful of just whatever. And all of my stellar 5-star reviews have been completely deleted by Yelp, and they're unavailable to view for the public.
That's interesting.
It doesn't make any sense. So I call them up and I'm like, hey, why are you guys knocking all my good reviews down, right? Well, it says clearly in the guidelines the way that we operate, and this is the standards. Well, what part of a good review saying we love your food, best place in town, what part of that doesn't meet standards? It doesn't make any sense to me.
And first, I'd like to break into when did you sign up for Yelp?
Oh my God. When I opened the first place a couple years back, 3 years ago, I opened my Yelp account.
Okay.
And since then, it's been the same thing ever since.
Okay. So when your Yelp account, do you have to pay Yelp?
Now, well, here's the thing. You don't have to pay them. And I even called them out, too. I called them out. You don't have to pay these jerks, right? But what they tell you is if you want to advertise on Yelp, it's going to cost you X amount of dollars to run these stupid Yelp ads that they want me to sign up for. And so I called this guy out on the phone. I said, well, maybe because I'm not a Yelp advertiser, you're not allowing my reviews to go through. And he gets offended that I said that.
Oh, he got offended?
He got offended.
Really?
And he didn't say anything like derogatory, but his demeanor and his entire tone of the conversation just changed when I brought that up to him.
Is he the founder of Yelp?
I don't know if he's the founder of Yelp, but I think Yelp might be in his name somewhere.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to know.
Yeah, I can't back that up. I really have. I can't back that up at all. So anyway, I just figured I'd talk about that for a little bit because it gets me going. You know what I mean? It's like, we try to do our best over at the restaurant. I think we do a pretty good job. But then I get this, like confrontational Yelp guy on the phone that's telling me that my reviews are not acceptable for whatever reason.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like Google, right? So listen, I advertise my hours.
Yes.
Put my hours on my website.
Don't get me started on Google.
On my website. I do whatever I want on my website.
Yeah.
It's my restaurant, right? Do whatever I want. All right, great. You bought it. You pay the taxes. You do what you do.
Whatever.
All right, fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to do that, right? All right. Then Google comes along and decides they'll just do whatever they want.
Yes.
And then people call and they say, it says you're closed at 4:00 on Google. Why are you closed at 4:00?
Oh my God. I go through this every day.
I said, no, we close at 10.
Yeah.
No, it says Google. It says 4 on Google.
Yes.
You absolutely, I know you're closed.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't pay Google $1,000 a month to change every single thing they want.
They just make up the rules as they go.
They make up the rules as they go, and then they send you an email. And if you don't agree to the email, the Google sabotage.
What are you going to do? Are you going to take on Google?
You can't take on Google. A.
You can't take on Google.
B. You can't just say forget Google. You can't say that.
No, because you have to have it. I mean, in this day and age, you have to.
So they have locked you in.
Amazing.
And it's great.
Absolutely amazing.
On top of the rest of the taxes.
Yeah, I go through this, and I'll have customers walk in, and they'll show me on their phones. It clearly says here that you close at 4:00, and I'm like, at no point have I ever closed my doors at 4:00. I've always been open until 8:00. What are you talking about? So then we go and we adjust the hours on there, and it's good for 2 or 3 days. And then next thing you know, by day number 4, it says I'm closed at 4:00 again.
Yes.
It is the most aggravating thing I've ever experienced. Yeah.
And then you have Mugs and Jugs menu on yours. Right?
Hopefully not. Hey,
listen, switches over.
Listen, everybody, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to grab some water and kind of relax for a minute. You're listening to the Knife and Fork Radio Show on Tan Talk Radio.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
At Goodfellas Knife and Fork Italian Kitchen, we never compromise quality. Every dish is made to order, and everything that goes in the dish is made from scratch. From our delicious marinara sauce to our homemade croutons that go in your Caesar salad and everything else in between. We offer dine-in, takeout, and delivery as well. Call us at 727-841-8864 or check us out on the web at www.goodfellowsitalian.com. We also have a full catering menu available for all of your large party needs. Mention this ad and get 10% off your entire order. Once again, that's Goodfellas Knife and Fork Italian Kitchen. We're located at 5446 Grand Boulevard in beautiful downtown Newport Richey. You can reach us at 727-841-8864. Check us out on the web at www.goodfellowsitalian.com.
This year, the magic is calling you like never before. The Bay Area Renaissance Festival is celebrating its 45th anniversary, and you won't want to miss a moment. Experience the all-new Mermaid Cove, House of Dragons Pub, and enjoy classic favorites like live armored combat jousting or tasty turkey legs. Now is the perfect time to get your discounted tickets. Visit select Circle K locations or find your magic today at BayAreaRenFest.com. Huzzah!
Hey, you new to the area or just want to know about the best hidden gems and upcoming events? Stay tuned. Be Local Buzz with Devin takes you to these places, introduces you to the best businesses, and tells you about upcoming buzz. Preset your radio to Tan Talk 1340 AM or 106.1 FM every Thursday from 4 to 5. That is the Be Local Buzz with Devin on Tan Talk 1340 AM and 106 FM every Thursday from 4 to 5. Looking forward to speaking with you.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. We are back. This is Eric and my co-host Mike. We're hosting the Knife and Fork Radio Show on the Tan Talk Radio Network. Hopefully, we're making the show entertaining for you, and I know we're making it entertaining for ourselves. Even if no one's out there listening, we're having a blast in this studio right now. I don't know about you, Mike. You having a good time?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm having a great time. Doesn't matter if anyone cares.
It doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't matter. Hopefully somebody's listening, but if not, you know what? We're going to keep doing this show every Thursday anyway because we can.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
That's how we do it.
We make the rules.
Yeah, fair enough. We're like Google. We just make the rules.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Hey, Mike, some breaking news just came in.
Hey, what's that?
The ratings for our show just came in.
Yeah.
We're apparently number one. Thank you, Arbitron. We love you.
Fantastic.
We love you. Listen, I can't back any of that up. That's not true at all. All right.
None of those are facts.
None of those are facts. Hey, listen, guys, the call lines are open still, 727-441-3000 for your local number. Or you can call us toll free at 1-866-826-1340. We'd love to hear about your experiences. Mike, I want to talk a little bit now about Valentine's Day yesterday. All right. Valentine's Day is that one day of the year where you take your wife, you take your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whoever it is you're with, you take them out for dinner.
Right.
I know you work in a crazy busy restaurant, and I'm going to tell you what, just to straighten the subject real quick, I didn't think I was going to be busy last night at my restaurant because I'm quick serve, all counter service. I don't have servers, nobody goes to your table. I don't even have beer or wine. I just got sodas and water. But I'm going to tell you what, they got their asses kicked last night, it looks like. I wasn't there. I left the building at about 4 o'clock with low expectations of the evening.
Well, I mean,
I'm like, who's going to go to a quick serve restaurant on Valentine's Day? You know what I mean? That's a day where you go to impress, right?
Right. Well,
I don't know.
I mean, this is probably the same guy that called on the same day to make reservations at 6:30 on the busiest restaurant in the whole area.
Yeah,
5 minutes before he was trying to get there.
God, I know
that's
that
the
guy.
same guy.
I know
he
that
was
guy.
at your place last night
God,
because he couldn't get into mine.
You know
because
what,
he
man?
called 10 minutes early.
If I get all the overflow from your restaurant and it makes me money, I don't care, man. I'll take the sloppy seconds every day
I
of the
will
week.
slide him right down
Just
to you,
keep sending
brother.
them my
I'll send
direction,
them right
man,
your direction.
please. Keep sending them to me, man.
Every
For
one of
sure.
those guys that call on the 5 minutes before on their way there.
Yeah. I'd like to
I'll
make
let
a
'em know.
reservation for 2 people at 6:15 tonight.
I'm going to say you're going to need to go straight to Goodfellas. They got you.
Yeah, they
will
got
take
you
care of
covered. Yeah, they got you.
You
Yeah.
should check out their Yelp reviews. They're amazing.
Yeah, right. And make sure you check out the hours on Google before you show up because they may or may not be open. We don't know.
You never know. Google
But
owns
Google
everything.
knows. Yeah, apparently. Yeah, but I can't stand it. But anyway, I know you work in a very busy restaurant.
Right.
Just touch on your experience last night, real quick, man. Like, in the restaurant industry, just so for everyone's listening out there, there's a couple of really big days. Mother's Day is
Mother's Day,
a great big day in the restaurant.
Even Father's Day now.
Father's Day is big too. It's getting there.
Because the youth nowadays really doesn't cook that much.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
your Father's Day is Mother's Day.
Sure.
Turns into pretty much the same thing. And then
there's Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day is what word would you use to call it? We call it amateur hour.
Amateur hour.
Amateur
Yep,
hour
that's
where I'm
good.
from. So basically the people that never go out ever in the history of ever,
Absolutely.
they go out that day.
Absolutely.
They go out that day. Then they expect the world.
Because they're obligated.
Because they're
And that's
obligated.
okay.
And that's okay
Yeah.
because television told them it was okay.
Sure.
And, they told them what to do. And then,
just part of the deal.
that's part of the deal. That's what they do. So they go buy a card, they buy candy, they buy this, they buy that.
Yep.
Then they come in, haul in a load of stuff, and
Yeah.
they're like, hey, I'm ready for my table.
Absolutely.
And there's, 200 people in front of them that say, hey, we're ready for our table too.
Yes. So are these people.
So are these people. So, physically you can only move so fast as a human being. I mean, we're not cheetahs.
Right.
So, you got human being speed. And then also, you get everybody set down and then you have these amazing specials. And then, what happens is the chef puts hours and hours and hours into these specials.
Many hours.
And
Yeah.
they're really good. They're really good. A little bit expensive sometimes because, you like to bring a higher quality product on a holiday,
And
right?
it's that one day of the year where you don't mind dipping into your pocket a little bit deeper than
Right.
what you did last week because it's kind of a special day. So it's okay to spend a couple $100 on dinner on Valentine's Day versus like the normal, $25-$30, for whatever.
Exactly. And then go for that second glass of wine. It's going to be okay.
Absolutely. Or in my case, go for that 4th glass of wine and I get the 9-ounce pours. I don't know about you guys.
You do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? We just offer full bottles.
Okay,
you know
it
what
is
I'm
what it is.
So yeah, then you go through that, and, you get to your table and then, you have a great experience, except, 99% of people have a great experience. Then you have the 1%, right? Which is, 9 out of 10 dentists recommend Crest. I mean, I don't know what the other guy's doing, but
I don't know. Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's your 99%. And then the other, the other 1% literally is just coming in there looking for something for free.
Right.
Which is tough.
Right.
Because you're like,
It's going to happen. Everywhere you go, it's going to happen.
everywhere you go.
Yeah.
So, and, at the end of the day, we, at my place, we did a great job, I thought. And then, but
made a lot. I'm sure you made a lot of Valentine's Days very special for a couple of, for many people.
For many people.
Absolutely.
But there was a couple that
Yeah.
we didn't.
Well, some people you can't save, and a lot of those people are not worth saving. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
you just come on now, carry on, folks.
So
Get out
listen,
the door.
when I know when you walk in with flip flops
Yes.
and no sleeves
Yes.
on Valentine's Day, there's no pleasing you.
No. That's all there is to
That's
it.
not- this
That's
is not
all there
happening.
is to it.
I mean, I just go directly to the bar and get a PBR and get it rocking.
In a can, I hope. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
We call that the tall boy for $1.99.
Yes. But we have the brown bags that go with it, so you feel comfortable walking around
Speaking
with
of PBRs, man, remember back in the days, man, when I owned Barachos? Hey, just so you guys know, I used to own this bar back many, many years ago, and it was called Barachos Cantina, and everything was served in cans. So the word can was in quotes and then Tina. So it was Barachos Cantina. It was a spin on the words. And my buddy and I were at a bar one night. This is back in my old days when I used to go to the bars every night of the week.
Oh, yeah.
My buddy and I were sitting at a bar, and I said, you know what would be really cool? And he's like, what? And I said, why don't we open a bar, right? And we had a couple, 2-3 whiskeys on us at that point, you know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, it sounds like a great idea. And we literally opened a bar a month later. Yeah.
Oh, I remember.
Barachos Cantina, yeah.
I remember when the idea was, you know what? I don't think I was around when the idea was spawned, but when it started going into motion
Yes.
and we were on
It was
Sly
insane. Yes.
and Armenia in this place that had like 3 seats,
Yeah.
a jukebox, and you were allowed to smoke inside.
Oh, yeah.
I knew it was a bad idea.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
I knew it was a bad idea.
There's nothing good's going to come out
As
of this
soon as
story.
I showed up there, I was like, oh man, this is not going to be good.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
You know, why not?
I
Let's give it
remember
a
that.
shot.
I remember that day.
Yeah,
I do remember
that's
that.
good. That's good stuff.
Yeah, that was fun. And for those of you out there that don't speak Espanol, Barachos means drunk.
Yes.
Moving on.
Moving on.
So anyway, Valentine's Day. And you know what? Here's the thing about Valentine's Day. In relation to what Mike was saying, I don't know if you guys heard him say it. He called it amateur hour. And we in the industry like to refer to that day as amateur hour because of what he said. Like people just go out. They're obligated to go out that one day. But that also brings up another point that I wanted to touch on today as well. During amateur hour, people don't understand the way the service industry works. You've got your food. You sit down, you get your table, you get your food. Kitchen prepares it, you get your check, you pay your bill, you leave. All right. Now there's a middle person that's also involved with this as well, between the preparation of the food and the eating of the meal, and that's your server or your bartender, depending on where you're sitting,
Right.
because they'll serve food at the bars too. So that bartender essentially is a server as well at that point if you're eating at the bar top. Now, the server, for all of y'all out there listening, if whether or not you know this, the server doesn't make a handsome hourly rate. The server, I think, what's minimum wage for a server now? $8.50 an hour, $8.25. I don't even know. I've been out of this.
$8.98.
$8.98. And if you're listening, you're like $8.98 an hour. That's pretty good. Well, it's not. It's not. When minimum wage is $15 an hour.
Right,
or more
right.
in some states.
Right.
$8.98 an hour is not a livable wage. I think that equates to like about $360 a week if you work a full 40-hour
Right.
work week.
Which in theory is $12 an hour, which is eaten up by the $3.02 tip credit from the state or from the government.
Exactly. You got to pay your FICA, you got to pay your Social Security, you got to pay all
that.
Medicare, all that stuff. So at the end of the day, that $360 a week, if you don't make any tips, translates down to about maybe $305, $310.
If you're lucky, yes.
Maybe. I don't know about you guys, but I can't live on $1,200 a month. You know what I mean?
No,
I don't live a lavish lifestyle.
In a box, I could.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And then, that guy with no teeth could also be your neighbor. You never know. I'm just saying.
Look, maybe he needs a roommate.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't charge you rent for that spare bedroom box you'll be sleeping in. But basically where I'm going with this story is, like the server that comes to your table, they're working for, say, $300 a week, maybe, if they don't make any tips on top of that.
Right.
All right. So the tips that you provide your server when you go out to eat and you have a nice dinner, or that server's source of income, pretty much the only source of income that they have. And that's what's going to guarantee that they can pay their bills, keep the lights on in the house, put food in the fridge, blah, blah, blah. All those, not luxuries, but all those necessities that we have in life is basically what they're working for.
Right.
And then what a lot of people don't understand is when you go out to a restaurant and you have say you have a $100 check,
Right.
all right, and you don't leave your server a tip, okay, that server still has to pay 3% tip out. So they have to tip out the host staff.
Depending on where you work.
Well, depending on where you work. But, usually
And
it
also
could be even higher.
Yeah, and depending on what you drink.
Yeah, it could be
Yeah.
higher, exactly. Usually the server will tip out of their pay for that day, the bartender, the bussers, and the host.
Absolutely.
Or hostess,
All
whatever.
three.
And basically that's just to give them money for their services.
Right.
In addition to their mediocre hourly rate that they make as well.
Right, which is 3 to 5%.
Exactly. So between 3 to 5% of that server's daily pay, they have to pay someone else just to go to work that day.
Well, they have to pay a teenager to walk around and pick up their dishes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun, but it isn't.
It's not fun at all.
But where I'm going with this, though, Mike, is that if you have a $100 check and you sit down for dinner and you don't tip your server, that server still has to pay that 3% or that 5% tip.
Oh, yeah.
So now the person that's taking care of you at the table has to pay to go to work today.
Yeah, he has to pay $5 for you to come in and eat.
Yeah. So if that server had 3 tables that night, none of them tipped, and there were $100 on each check, that server now has to pay between $9 to $15 out of their pocket just to go to work that day. And then isn't that crazy? People don't understand that.
That is crazy. And then with the tip credit and then the amount of the tips that you don't create, then you pretty much went to work for free.
Absolutely.
So it's almost a wash.
Absolutely. It is.
So that's tough.
That's crazy. It's just it's weird the way this restaurant industry works. You know what I mean?
And the industry standard is 18%, I think, right?
I think it's 18.
18,
18, 20.
18 to 20.
Like that,
Yeah, I mean,
that's typical.
It's 18, but I mean, 20 is more logical, just throwing the other 2% on top.
I like doing 20 just because the math is easier. I'm not the brightest guy in the world. And for me to actually do division and multiplication with an 8 involved, I mean, you might as well just ask me to solve like an algebraic equation. I can't do that either.
Oh, I just asked my wife to pay.
That's a great idea.
But she uses my credit card.
Is she still doing accounting, by the way?
She is.
Outstanding. How's she doing, man? I haven't seen her in quite some time.
Whew.
Yeah.
She's amazing, man.
Is she killing it?
She is killing it.
Good, man.
She just turned 2 years sober, too, man.
Oh, my God. That's awesome. Congratulations, man. Good for her.
Amazing.
I love it.
She's literally climbing the corporate ladder, brother.
Good for her, man.
Yeah, man.
Good for her.
So
I love everything about it.
Yeah,
she had an exit plan from the restaurant business, which is what we all aspire to get one of these days.
Yes.
I haven't necessarily formulated mine yet, but if this radio thing takes off, maybe we're sitting in our exit plan.
Maybe, who knows?
Or there might not be anyone listening, Mike. Like I said earlier.
Well,
and we might just be doing this for fun.
Well, it's okay.
Back in the old days, Mike and I used to go play golf for fun.
Yeah,
now that we're old men, we just go and we do radio shows now for fun because we're so old and we're so tired, we can't swing the golf clubs anymore.
It just doesn't make any sense.
It hurts, man.
Why pull a muscle when you don't have to?
Every morning when I get out of bed, and you can ask my wife this, that's what sound comes out of my mouth.
I agree with you.
I lay in bed, when I put my head down to go to sleep, as I'm getting into bed, I make that same noise, but it's even louder. It's terrible, man. And she looks at me and she's like, "You okay over there, old man?" And I'm like, "I don't really know. I wish I had the answer for you, but I don't have it."
I don't think I am.
No.
But I don't think it matters.
Yeah,
that's kind of where I'm at with it, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Just wonder which muscle I'm going to pull today.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of where I'm at.
And you know what? That's fun. That's fun. It's fun to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to talk about that. It's fun to live it. And, K-tape's your best friend, and.
Hey, speaking of Valentine's Day, I want to move from this subject because it's taking up a lot of time. I just want to share this quick story that happened to me yesterday at my restaurant. I don't serve pizzas. All right, let's just get that out there right now.
Right.
I used to make pizzas when I was with another company, and I hated everything about it. Right?
It's horrible.
You're covered in flour. Like you walk in, you're clean in the morning. You walk out the door at night, and you're covered in flour. It's in your hair. It's in your arms.
Literally the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, it's just, and your shirt's caked up. It's gross. I don't want to have anything to do with making pizzas.
Walk around smelling like cheese all day.
Grande. It's the best in the business.
Yeah.
It's made in Wisconsin, but it's got an Italian name. I don't understand it. Yeah. It's very strange, but nonetheless, every reputable pizza place in the area uses grande cheese, and I will tell you, they are the best in the business.
Well, absolutely. They just started rebating too, by the way. Did you know that?
Did they?
Yes.
I can't afford grande cheese in my place, man. That stuff's like almost $4 a pound right now, man.
Well, that's why I started rebating. Just get everybody back on.
Maybe I can't afford it. How long does it take to get the rebate? Do I need to buy the cheese to get the rebate, or can I get the rebate first as an incentive to buy the cheese, and then we can talk about it at a later time?
I think it's on the back end.
Son of a bitch!
I think it's about 6 months on the back end.
It is what it is, I guess. Yeah. All right, but anyway, let me tell you the story that I had real quick. Talking about Valentine's Day. So, by the way, I don't know if you heard me. I don't make pizzas, right?
No,
never will. Okay. I get this. This is funny. I get this phone call. And I'm going to tie this into the amateur hour thing that we talked about a minute ago. I get this phone call yesterday at the restaurant. The guy says, "Hey, is it possible to get a heart-shaped pizza?" And I at first I didn't understand what he said, and I was like, "I'm sorry, what was that, sir?" He's like, "Can you make me a pizza shaped in a heart?" And I said, "No, I don't make pizzas, man. I apologize." And I gave him a recommendation of a place that might be able to help him out.
Right.
But that's kind of like the amateur hour. That guy called me at about 4:00 yesterday.
Oh yeah, because he wanted that for dinner, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
he wanted pepperoni pizza, maybe with some like anchovies on there. I don't know.
Oh,
I mean,
okay, because the obligatory stop at Walgreens wasn't good enough.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, okay,
maybe he wanted some banana peppers on his
you know
pizza,
what?
but he wanted it shaped like a heart.
Man, you know what? Maybe.
I don't get it. I don't get it. So anyway, that's a funny story.
Well,
There's nothing more to the story than that. I just wanted to share that experience with you. Yeah.
Did he have any teeth?
You know what? He was on the phone, but he sounded like he was chewing on the phone when he was talking to me because he didn't get the pizza he was looking for.
That makes sense.
And he was hungry, so he was like, the hell with it. I'm just going to eat anything I got. And he started eating on the phone.
Okay, that makes sense.
But I did hear clank, clank, clank on the phone. So I'm guessing he had some teeth in his mouth, but I couldn't tell you exactly how many or the location of them as well.
Location is key.
Hey, listen, real quick, I want to give a shout out to my buddy Mike that works with me over at Goodfellas, and Katie as well. I've known Mike for quite some years. We've worked together at a previous restaurant, Salt of the Earth. Mike and Katie and Aubrey, their daughter. I just want to say congratulations to the both of them because they just had their second baby this morning. They went in there, and Mike is actually tuned into the radio show right now, so I know he's listening. And I just want to say congratulations on your new arrival. And I know you guys are great parents, and you're gonna love this baby, and you're gonna take care of him, and you're gonna have a great life together. I just want to say congratulations from all of us at the Goodfellas Knife and Fork Restaurant. I'm speaking on behalf of myself and my entire staff, and my buddy Mike over here that doesn't even know who you are. He says congratulations as well.
Absolutely, man. I just can't believe that you would brave two kids in this world. I have one, and it's the most expensive, ridiculous thing I've ever done in my life. So congratulations.
Yeah, for sure. Just wanted to get that out there and let everybody know. Congrats, Mike. So anyway, moving on. So I think I'm done talking about Valentine's Day. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Valentine's Day is okay. I mean, look, the reality of it is it's just one of those days where you just wish it's over.
It is. Listen, folks, we're going to take another short break here for about, however long it takes. We'll come back and talk to you soon. You're listening to the Knife and Fork Radio Show on the TAN Talk Radio Network.
This is the TAN Talk Radio Network.
At Goodfellas Knife and Fork Italian Kitchen, we never compromise quality. Every dish is made to order, and everything that goes in the dish is made from scratch. From our delicious marinara sauce to our homemade croutons that go in your Caesar salad and everything else in between. We offer dine-in, takeout, and delivery as well. Call us at 727-841-8864 or check us out on the web at www.goodfellasitalian.com. We also have a full catering menu available for all of your large party needs. Mention this ad and get 10% off your entire order. Once again, that's Goodfellas Knife and Fork Italian Kitchen. We're located at 5446 Grand Boulevard in beautiful downtown Newport Richey. You can reach us at 727-841-8864. Check us out on the web at www.goodfellasitalian.com.
Hey, you new to the area or just want to know about the best hidden gems and upcoming events? Stay tuned. Be Local Buzz with Devin takes you to these places, introduces you to the best businesses, and tells you about upcoming buzz. Preset your radio to TAN Talk 1340 AM or 106.1 FM every Thursday from 4 to 5. That is the Be Local Buzz with Devin on TAN Talk 1340 AM and 106 FM every Thursday from 4 to 5. Looking forward to speaking with you.
This year, the magic is calling you like never before. The Bay Area Renaissance Festival is celebrating its 45th anniversary, and you won't want to miss a moment. Experience the all-new Mermaid Cove, House of Dragons Pub, and enjoy classic favorites like live armored combat jousting or tasty turkey legs. Now is the perfect time to get your discounted tickets. Visit select Circle K locations or find your magic today at BayAreaRenFest.com. Huzzah!
This is the TAN Talk Radio Network.
Can't say that word. Okay. Hey, welcome back, everybody. You're listening to the Knife and Fork Radio Show here on the TAN Talk Radio Network with your hosts, Eric and Mike, my esteemed colleague. We were just talking about some funny stuff before we got back from the break. And or after for what we're going to talk about next. And we're just going to talk about some fun stuff, like some fun experiences that Mike and I have endured over the years. And I know my buddy Mike, I just gave the shout out to, he's listening, so he's going to laugh at this story. this is a real funny one, Mike. So when I was working at this other Italian restaurant down in Palm Harbor, where I met my buddy Mike, we were closing the restaurant one day, right? And I don't even know what, I think we closed the doors at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, something like 10 o'clock over there. We closed early. It wasn't a late night business. And we didn't serve liquor. We had beer and we had wine. And that's it. And then we had food, obviously. And we're sitting there and I'm closing up and come out of the kitchen doing what I'm doing in the back. And I come out and there's this lady still sitting in the dining room, right? And I'm like, all right, what's going on with this lady? And then the server's still kind of like sitting there, arms crossed. You can tell the server's getting a little bit aggravated with this woman. So I'm like, what's going on, right? He's like, I don't know. She's drunk. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's see what's going on with her. And me being the sarcastic guy that I am, I see this as an opportunity to have a good time and kind of get a couple laughs at everybody because everyone's kind of like waiting for this lady to leave because we're done. But now we're staying there for another who knows how long to get this drunk lady out of the restaurant. So I walk over. I'm like, ma'am, how you doing? Everything good? And she's clearly just like annihilated drunk.
Oh,
right?
My favorite.
So I look at the server and I say, hey, man, I'm like, how much do you serve this lady? Like, how are you going to let her get this drunk? You know what I mean?
Right. It's your responsibility.
She had one glass of wine.
Oh, wow.
One single glass of wine. All right. I'm like, all right, are you sure? He's like, yeah, man. He's like, that's all I served her, one glass of wine. All right, cool. So, and she's like stumbling on her feet drunk, right? Awesome. So I tell her, I'm like, hey, you doing okay over there? And she's like, yeah, whatever. I don't know what she's saying. And then she's trying to call her son to come and give her a ride, right? So finally she gets a hold of the son, and she's too drunk to give directions to where to go. I get on the phone with the son. I'm like, listen, I got your mom over here. She's had a couple too many tonight. Can you come and get her out of here? We closed 35 minutes ago, and we're waiting for her now. This is 100% true. And he's like, yep, I'll be there. I got the address. So we're like, all right, how long is it going to be before you get in? I don't know, 20 minutes. I'm like, all right, guys, we got to wait another 20 minutes. So I see an end in sight where I'm actually able to leave now. Because, we used to get in the building at 9 o'clock in the morning and start working. It was a minimum 12, 13 hours a day in that place. So I'm ready to go home. It's like 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night now. And it probably was like my Friday, which is Saturday. I used to be off on Sundays and Mondays. Right. So it's probably like right before my day off. I'm itching to get out of this building. So anyway, she comes over, or he says he's going to be there in 20 minutes, blah, blah, blah. Then 5 minutes later, the phone rings. We answer the phone. It's that guy's wife, her son's wife. This is what she tells me. We are not coming to get that woman. I don't care what you do. This is a true story. I don't care what you do with this one. We're not coming to get her. You can call the police and have her removed for all I care. We're not doing this. And she hangs up the phone. So I look back at the three guys that are staying with me. I'm like, well, I guess we're stuck now. We have no choice. So we try to call her a cab. I don't know the last time you guys tried to call a cab, but they're almost impossible to get.
Oh, no.
The minimum wait time for a cab is like an hour and a half. That's what they tell me on the phone. I call 3 different companies.
Right, of course.
No, we can come out. It's going to be an hour and a half before we get there. Oh, God. So I'm certainly not going to call her an Uber and pay for it on my dime. You know what I mean?
Right, of course, because that's the only other option.
Yeah, that's the only other option. I'm not going to do it. So we have no choice at this point but to call the police. I need her out of the building. Now, we're going on like 11:30, 11:45 at night now. Mind you, I've been there since 9 in the morning. So I look over at the lady. I'm like, look, I got to call the police. I got to get you out of here or whatever.
And a non-emergency is over an hour, right? Wait.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, of course.
So then she starts getting real like nasty at this point, right? Like real
irate.
Nasty. And she starts yelling at everybody. And she's yelling at Mike, who just had the baby with Katie. She's yelling at him, and she's so drunk. And I'm going to do the best drunk voice I possibly can. And she's like, hey, you know what? You're just ugly. She's yelling at Mike. And Mike's not an ugly man at all. You're just ugly. You're an ugly person. And I'm the one that's telling her I'm calling the cops, but she's directing her anger towards Mike. We laugh about this story all the time. You're just an ugly person. Yeah, I had 3 sons. They're all beautiful, and you're just ugly. I don't know why she kept saying it over and over again. So anyway, cops show up, right? They come in, like, what's going on? I tell her, like, I can't get this lady out of the building. She's drunk. She's refusing to leave. I have to go home. They come in, they try to escort her out of there, whatever. And she picks up her stuff, and she wasn't getting arrested. They were just going to remove her from the building and do what I needed. And then I don't know what happened. We're so happy that the lady's gone. So I'm like, all right, everybody, let's go. We go locking up all the doors, turning the lights off, whatever. And I don't know what happened in the 35 seconds that it took me to secure the building to get to the front door to put my key in and lock it. But they had her in handcuffs at that point. True story. She was 100% in handcuffs.
She must have called him ugly.
I don't know. I don't know. I still to this day, I'll never know what happened. But it took literally 35 seconds from the cops saying, all right, ma'am, come on, let's get you out of here, to me locking the doors, to her being in handcuffs and put in the back of the police car. Yeah, that's such a funny.
Alcohol plus pills, man. Hey, man, it's not good stuff.
You know what, though? I'll tell you what. So I don't remember if I saw her or if somebody else did, but apparently she had a bunch of little like airplane bottles of booze in her purse.
Oh,
and that's what she was doing. Yeah. It wasn't the one glass of wine that got her done. It was the 17 bottles of 99 bananas that she probably drank at dinner service.
Oh, man, those are the best.
That's a lot of bananas. What's 17 times 99? Because that's how many bananas she had for dinner that
about
night.
6 million.
6 million bananas.
6 million
That's
bananas.
a lot of bananas.
That's a lot of bananas.
That's almost a Four Locos moment right there. Hey, you know what you have when you have 3 Four Locos?
What's that?
12 Locos.
12 Locos.
You got any funny stories for us, Mike?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
drunk stories like that, man, just kind of like lighthearted and,
Oh, of course. Let me think. Yeah, a couple of years ago, I was in this restaurant. I was working. It was Friday night. Everybody's drinking at the bar. Everybody's having a good time. Everybody's running to the restroom, and they're only in there for 30 seconds at a time, going in and going out, going in, going out. Me, I thought they were just doing drugs, but apparently I was wrong.
Right.
So I go in to see what's going on to the restroom because I'm bailing out the kitchen at the same time. So I said, "Listen, I got to go take care of this real quick."
Typical day in the restaurant.
Typical day in the restaurant. So it's Friday. It's like 7:00, right? So I go in there, and there's this older gentleman. He's about 50, 55. He had been drinking there all day. I know him. I mean, I've been knowing the guy for 15 years.
Yeah, sure.
And he's just dropping a deuce in a urinal.
I'm sorry. Can you just say that one more time? I
Would you like me to elaborate? Okay. He was dropping a deuce in the urinal.
In the stand-up urinal that you would go and urinate in as an adult male, or even
right. It had fully covered the urinal cake. See what I'm saying?
That's disgusting.
That is absolutely. It's a little bit graphic, but
well, that's okay. We'd like to keep the show a little edgy. That's fine.
He was still in midstream.
I don't
process.
I don't know what that word.
I'm not sure the word for that.
I don't know. Yeah,
but I mean, he still was in bended knee.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, and he looked at me right dead in the eye.
Yeah,
and he kept going. And I said, "Listen, man, what are you doing right now?"
That is.
He's like, "Man, there's someone in the stall." I said,
"Okay."
Okay.
You just couldn't wait?
You just couldn't wait a second?
Right.
I said, I could clearly hear them washing their hands right now.
Yeah.
He's like, well, there's someone else in the other stall. And I said, you're still in midstream right now. You're still going.
Mike,
you're still going.
I'm speechless, man. And not many times in my life am I ever speechless, but this one has really got me thinking.
Have you ever taken a dog for a walk?
Yeah.
And then they look directly at you while they're using the restroom?
Mike, I don't think you've ever met my dog, but I've got an 85 to 90 pound pit bull at the house. Her name's Freya.
Fantastic.
Shout out to Freya. And she takes the biggest poops I've ever seen in my life.
Does she stare deeply into your eye?
Every single time.
Oh, man.
Every single time.
Such a great moment.
It's almost like a passionate moment. It's a connection. It's a connection between you and the dog.
And me and this gentleman, we had a connection. We had a connection that day. And then obviously I was like, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. You have to get out. Like you can't just come in here, deuce in the urinal.
Without a doubt.
Look me directly in the eye.
Yeah.
Keep going. And then now I have to throw the urinal cake out. I mean, come on.
You know what? Here's the thing: operating costs. We can tie this into a financial aspect, and just for you at home that don't know,
you cost me $2.
We don't make money on urinal cakes.
Right.
That's straight. It's a straight expense.
It's an expense. You just cost me $2.
Yeah.
And $8 an hour that I have to have this server come in here with gloves on and scoop this out of the urinal.
No.
Well, so it has to go somewhere,
I
right?
guess so yeah, you couldn't just flush it like 1,000 times.
It wasn't like he was borracho.
For those of you that don't speak Espanol, borracho means drunk.
So it wasn't very rapidly coming out of him.
All right, we don't have to get that graphic, man.
He was struggling a little bit. So it was a little bit more, had a little continuity to it.
That's impressive to say the least.
Well, and I was flabbergasted that he kept going.
Yeah.
We had a moment.
Now, when it was all said and done, and what happened to this guy? Where'd he go?
Well, I threw him out.
Right.
I mean, he went to his truck, and I think he fell asleep in his truck.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was too drunk to be there.
I think the question that might be on everyone's mind right now is was he able to clean himself up before he exited?
Oh, no, absolutely not. He just pulled pants straight up.
That's amazing.
And walked straight out the door to his car.
That's amazing.
So, and then I had known him for years.
Oh, so you knew this guy?
So I knew the guy.
Okay, I missed that.
No, I knew the guy.
Okay.
So I knew the guy, and I had actually been friends with the guy.
Yeah.
So I said, "Listen, man, you got to go."
Yeah.
So he goes, and then he goes straight to his truck, and I knew he wasn't going to drive anywhere because he had been on the boat all day.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And then he came in and had about 3 beers.
Yeah.
He came in and had about 3 or 4 beers, and then that's
sure.
That's where that was at, and then it just I guess it just struck him where he had to just go.
That's incredible.
And then a week later I saw him. This guy never remembered one time.
Wow.
Never remembered.
Wow.
So I had to explain it to him.
Yeah.
And he said, "No, that wasn't me."
He had no recollection of it
He
whatsoever.
had no recollection of it.
That's amazing.
And then
That's amazing.
I have a camera that
Did you and I work at this place together?
we did.
I have a feeling I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we had a camera that faced the door of the restroom.
Okay.
So you could see him walking out, pulling up trout.
Oh my God.
Like in a
That's amazing.
pretty quick manner
That's
to
amazing.
just exit the building.
It's incredible.
Obviously.
What at any point did he pick up a payphone and talk into it? Is he the guy that used to pick up the payphone that wasn't connected and make phone calls and just talk? Is that the same guy?
It is not the same guy.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's not the same guy.
Named after a city.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Not the same guy.
Okay,
He was not the Lotto King.
but it was in that building, though.
It was in that
The
building.
Lotto King. Yeah,
The
that's
Lotto
right.
King.
Yeah, the
The
Lotto
king
King.
of the
I
lottery.
forgot about that. Hey, I just want to take a minute to give a shout out to my. That's right. Oh my God, I forgot about that. Hang on. Give me a second before you give me another hug. I just want to take a second to give a shout out to one of my partners, Artie, with Artie's Coffee Mafia. He parks his coffee truck every morning, Monday through Friday, between 11 o'clock and 2 out in front of my restaurant. And I'm going to tell you what, guys, if you want a really good cup of coffee and you don't want to go to the major guys that have the burned, nasty taste, and $8, $9 cups of coffee. You want a real good, wholesome cup of coffee that's going to just taste good and brighten up your morning. You got to come down and see Artie at Artie's Coffee Mafia. He's located at my restaurant, which is at 5446 Grand Boulevard, Newport Richey. He does everything from coffee to espressos, to cappuccinos. He does iced teas. He does handcrafted lemonades. This guy's got the best in the business, and he's at my restaurant. I have the pleasure, and I'm fortunate enough to work next to this guy 5 days a week. He keeps me highly caffeinated every day, and that's how I get through my day from the morning until the night.
Don't we all?
Don't we all? I just want to give a shout out to Artie, and then I also want to give a hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
Oh,
I thought I won a lotto.
That is great. That is great. Oh, my Lord, have mercy. Yeah, we like to have a good time, Mike and I. We like to share fun stories like this. Listen, between the two of us, we probably have 1,000 fun stories that we can talk about all day long. But we're not going to touch on all of them today. We're only going to talk about what we talked about, and then we're going to save the rest of the stories for the following week. I want to. Whenever you guys have an opportunity to, I want you to come down and see me over at Goodfellas. It's my restaurant out there in Newport Richey. Goodfellas Knife and Fork Italian Kitchen. Just so you know, we do everything made from scratch in the building. We make the sauces. We make the soups. We make the croutons for your Caesar salads. We make all the salad dressings right there in-house. I got a talented crew of prep people that are in my building every morning, bright and early, slaving over stoves, slaving over ovens, getting everything done, making meatballs from scratch. Everything you can think of. And we do it all right there in the building. We're a quick serve Italian restaurant. I think we're the only quick serve Italian restaurant in the area.
You are for sure.
I don't think there's another one.
Another one.
We do have seating inside the building. We've got about 4 tables. We've got a couple picnic tables if you want to sit outside, and they're covered by umbrellas on my patio.
Food is delicious, by the way.
Oh, well, Mike, I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you
absolutely.
so much. Yeah, stop on by. We do carry out. We do seating inside, limited, and we also do delivery as well. You can use Uber Eats. You can use DoorDash if you want to get raped on the third-party fees. You're more than welcome to use those guys. Or you can call me directly at 841-8864. And once again, that's 727-841-8864. And if that line doesn't work, I got another phone number for you. Write this one down too, 727-232-2474. Hey, listen, guys, we had a great time today, Mike and I don't know about y'all. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. We love talking. We love having a good time. You are listening to the Knife and Fork Radio Show, the first of many to come. We look forward to hearing from you next week and doing it again soon, every Thursday from 9 a.m. until 10 a.m. Have a great day, folks. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Hell yeah!
Bye.